Let's go, man. Bring Darte down there?
He was already his shirt off. He was already showing. They want him, I'll be happy to bring him. He doesn't like this stuff.
Special stuff too. Josh almost broke the TV. Grabbing stuff, pushing off.
Trying to turn the volume down.
Let's go, guys.
Chris, this was your second senior night after last year. Any different? Like it seemed like you still kind of had the emotions.
Play last year.
Yeah, definitely. This one a little more than last year because last year I kind of knew that I was going to get the year to come back. But coming out there, knowing it's my last game in the deck, so it got to me a little bit after I seen my mother break down a little bit. So I just got a lot of memories in here. So it meant a lot to me to be able to go out with them.
Let's get to both you guys. How does the game, how does the senior night here really affect your play? It seemed like you came out a little bit slow. Second half, you can't maybe come out fired up. Does that senior night, that last chance to play here, really sort of have an impact on both ends?
It's definitely in your mind. You're thinking all the time you don't want to have your last home game go out with a loss, So you got to try to do whatever it takes to win, especially your last home game after your 4-year career. So.
Or 6.
Frantz, take me through kind of what's going through your mind when Bruiser calls you over there at the end of the game, takes you out.
Probably every moment I've been through, from my first game to my last game here. Just couldn't really get it all together. I'm just happy I didn't cry. So. I mean, it's emotional. You play a lot of games here. People here like you. The fans like you. A lot of people say congratulations to you after the games. They talk to you all the time. And it's your last time playing in front of them. It's definitely emotional.
It seemed like you sort of made it a point before you walked off to sort of look toward the crowd too, getting that thumbs up. Was that something that you wanted to do, or was that just spur of the moment?
Yeah, and then my dad was over there, so I always wait till my dad after every game. So that was kind of
Was the ref kind of telling you to hustle up there?
Yeah, he was.
You just kind of gave him like,
I told him it was my last home game. He said he didn't want to show up the other team, but it was my last home game tonight.
Chris, were you determined to get a 3-pointer in your last game?
Yeah, I went over for the game, but I made a big one when it counted, so that was real good for me. I think that kind of almost made up for how bad I shot it. But, I just always want to be ready. When a play comes to me, Frantz did a good job, telling me to stay ready. So that's what I did, and it came right to me.
Does anybody say anything at halftime of that game? You're down 6, really tough first half. Does anybody say anything, rile anybody up, or at this point you got so many veterans on this team, just sort of know what you have to do coming down in the second half?
Well, we talk about it a lot in the half. Downstairs in the locker room, coaches tell us what to do, and right before we go out to start the half, we all bring it in. Talk about what we really got to bring our game, got to bring our emotion. We start on defense end.
What did you have to do in that second half?
Play better defense and rebound.
That's it?
You guys good with the players? Coach too?
Coach.
Guys, you guys are good. Thought you already had them.
Thanks, guys.
Let us know if you're crying.
Almost made me cry the way you were shooting tonight.
Every senior day, there's always emotions, but did this one feel a little different just because of the two guys who said sitting next to you, and Dark, and just 6 in general, but especially.
These guys are one of our. I told the guys after the game, not just them two, because everybody talked about those two. A little bit about Darte, but all my seniors, they've been great this year, and they've been great because we went through as much as we got injured last year. We weren't injured as much as we were this year, and I think those guys are able to help us keep our heads above water. Nobody got down. Those guys came to practice. mean, they were positive. They worked hard. Even the guys that don't play, even Gordo. Gordo plays a little bit. Sauce, Steve, and Jake. Those guys came to practice every day. And I told those guys, I told Goran and Darte, Mo and Rodney have come a long way this year. I think those guys have come a long way since the beginning of the season. A lot of that has to do with them. If you ever come to our practice, they always sit down and talk to those guys about what they're supposed to be doing and all those things like that. So just those little things like that have been able to help us keep our heads above water a little bit, because we've had some, we had some things go on. We've lost some players for long periods of time. And but those guys have been great. I always tell these guys that the last 4 years with this group has been unbelievable. You know what I mean? Sometimes as a coach, you don't go home. You go home, you sleep with one eye open and your phone next to your bed. So I never had to worry about that with these guys. They're good kids. You know what I mean? They come from good families. And I told them I appreciate it. I always tell them that. I say, guys, as a group, I love y'all. Y'all have been one of the best groups I've ever been around. I told them I love y'all for that. You know what I mean? I love all my players. Like I always tell them, I love you. I hate your game sometimes, but I love you. You know what I mean? But this group right here has been exceptional in terms of that. And I think that's one of the reasons why we've been able to, keep our, like I said, keep our head above water and being able to go on and do some things. Although we lost a lot of games to some injuries last year and to this year. And but those guys have been phenomenal. I mean, Chris and Frantz, their stats speak for themselves. And I mean, we talk about all the time about one of my big things about when you talking trash to one another. I said I didn't go to college and I was just in the picture. So I tell my players that all the time. Sitting around talking about your game, you did this, you did that. I say, yeah. When I went to school, because you can go to college and you can just be in the picture. You can be on the team, you can be in the picture. And I say that. Well, these guys, they had a hell of a picture. I mean, they, circle them as one of the best players, one of the all-time players to play here. And all you got to do is look at what they did statistically. So, but like I said, forget the stats. As kids, those two guys have been the best and the greatest. I always say Frantz, I love him. I want him to be a little bit tougher. But I mean, look, he's going to be one of the guys with 1,600 points, 500 assists. Only one other guy's done that in the history of the school, if I'm correct, right? Yep. And I want to say we've won 80 games since he's been there. I think Chris has won one more. So these guys have averaged 20 wins over their 4-year career. I mean, Chris, the things he's battled through from a physical standpoint, I don't even think y'all guys don't even begin to understand what it's been about for him. And even Darte, I mean, he's been a solid player for us and he's just been a great kid. So some of the things you take for granted is our guys all graduate. So, you take some of that type of stuff for granted. Not only they graduate, they usually get out of here in 4 years. So, those guys are going to graduate. Those guys are going to continue to play, but they're going to be good. One of the things we take a lot of pride in as a program is I think our guys have gone on and done well, and I think we've had good kids. I think this group has been probably the best we've ever had in that respect. So I know they're going on to do well. Jake's going to be a lawyer. Sauces and Steve's going to be a lawyer. Those guys are going to go to law school and do all those things like that. So I told them I got a doctor, but I haven't had a lawyer yet from all my years. When my kids at UMass, he became a doctor. So I'm like, yo, I need that lawyer. I need that guy. So Jake thinks he's going to represent all the guys on the team, but I mean, those are the types of kids that we've had. Those guys have been great. And like I said, statistically, I mean, Frantz and Chris, it's off the charts. But they've been better people, and they come from great families, great parents, always supportive. That's one of the things that have been great with these guys. And I'll be honest with you, I've been doing this for a minute now, and you don't always have that. So you cherish the moments that you do, and it's been 4 years with those guys. And that's why we've had some of the successes that we've had over those years. Because those guys have been great parents, they've been great kids, and they work hard for them.
Frantz mentioned that the rebounding and defense had to be good in the second half. What was so great about the defense? How did 27% shooting in the second half?
Well, in the first half, I thought we actually didn't play bad defense. We just let them get second shots. So we just talked. Actually, at halftime, we didn't really talk about. We talked about emotion. I thought we were dragging in the first half, to be honest with you. But That happens sometimes in senior night. You know what I mean? Guys are so emotionally, and people are here, everybody want to be cool. You know, guys, people have come to the game that haven't really seen them play before. And so I just talked to them about just playing with some more emotion at halftime. And we talked about second shots because I think they had 7 or 9 offensive rebounds in the first half. Like, yo, we can't let them get second shots. And I thought that's what we did in the second half. So, and we finished some plays also, too. You know, we had what, 7 turnovers at halftime, right? So we stopped trying to give them the ball to them, but we had some opportunities. So that was it. But most of it was talking about just playing with emotion. And I said to the seniors, yo, it's your night. You guys got to step it up a little bit. And that was it. So they did in the second half.
Pretty good.
Thanks, Coach.